Third C, folks, from my experience, is going to give your healthcare agent confidence to make difficult decisions in a very difficult time, right? Because everything's in writing for them. All they have to do is go to your advanced medical directives and say, okay, this is what they wanted, this is what they do not want. And you're going to feel good about making that difficult decision. You're going to be confident about making that decision because you're going to feel like you're honoring and respecting your loved one's wishes. Folks, I got into the fourth C recently after meeting with some families, no names, of course, and they explained to me that they had to make these difficult end-of-life decisions for their mom. The daughter came in, no names, of course. She became a trust client after her mom passed. And she said, yeah, some of my siblings were giving me pushback. There was family-sibling tension starting to stir and create. She said, and all I had to explain to them, hey, guys, this is not my decisions. Mom memorialized everything in her medical checklist, her advanced medical directives. All I'm doing is honoring her wishes and communicating her wishes that she left in writing in her advanced medical directives. I said, how are family relations today? They got it. They respected it. They took a step back. She says, and the whole family now has a degree of comfort. That's the fourth C, comfort. So the family can resume life without any regret, angst, or guilt, worry. Gee, shoulda, coulda, woulda, did I make the right decision? Because you're going to know you did make the right decision when everything was on the line, because all you have to do is follow your loved one's written instructions. Okay, folks? So comfort. Because my experience, folks, our clients said, hey, Patrick, we want to do the 3 Ps. We want to protect our assets. We want to preserve the value, equity in the home, our IRAs, 401ks, and the third P, we want to pass it on as a meaningful legacy to the people we love the most. But from my experience, folks, our clients also want to do the 3 Ps, protect and preserve. What else? The family relationships. They want to see their kids on the front side of the cloud, family harmony, not on the back side of the cloud, family harm. They don't want that. They don't want that. So right there, number 3 of the big 6 disability plan, advanced medical directives, okay? Number 4 right here, HIPAA authorization, Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act, folks. This is number 4 of the big 6 right here. You need to put it in writing. You need to grant your healthcare agents and whomever else access to your medical records, because in a time of need, they may need to get a second opinion from a medical specialist. So if you're going for a surgical procedure and it's proven wise to get a second opinion from a specialist, which is often it is, your loved ones are going to need to get access to your medical records, and they're not going to be able to do that, folks, under the HIPAA, which are medical privacy confidentiality laws. This is very, very strict. The doctor's offices and medical providers strictly enforce the HIPAA rules and regulations because they can be held liable for disclosing information unless they have it in writing. A lot of folks overlook it. HIPAA authorization, typically recommend a standalone HIPAA authorization. And another pro tip here, folks, we typically recommend to our clients when we're designing their trust in the disability planning for them, the big 6, disability planning, extend that HIPAA authorization for 2 years, even after you go up to your cloud, right? Someone please tell me why, from a practical standpoint, would that be helpful? You're up in your cloud, and here you are. You're up in your cloud, you're up there, and typically your HIPAA expires when you expire. But from our experience, folks, to give your family authority and powers to get access to your medical records, what would be a reason for that? I typically ask this question at our educational programs, and the answer is typically, well, we may want to know family medical history. Yeah, that's a possibility. But what's a more urgent, time-sensitive matter? Yes, medical malpractice. We've gotten calls before, no names, of course, folks calling, Patrick, can you help us? My loved one, my parent was in a nursing home. They weren't being cared for properly. There was some neglect, and they fell out of their wheelchair, fell against the wall, broke their neck sadly, and succumbed to their injuries a couple of weeks later. We're frantic. The family's frantic. There's a lot of uncertainty around that. They need certainty. They need closure. And the way to get that, one of the ways to get that is to review those medical records. Review those medical records. Care leading up to that awful accident and event, and then thereafter as well. And now they're stuck. They cannot get access to the medical records because the HIPAA authorization expired when they went up to their cloud. Pro tip right there, folks, have your elder law attorney extend that HIPAA authorization. In writing our recommendation 2 years even after your passing, because that ought to allow your loved one still to go up to the medical records office at the hospital, at the nursing home, at the medical provider's facility to get those medical records, because the family will need that certainty. They need that closure to move forward in their lives, folks. Really, really important. Folks, number 5 of the big 6, disability planning, living will. Some folks refer to that as a DNR. Do not resuscitate. Do not resuscitate. Even if your state legislature does not recognize a living will. Still strongly recommended right there, because they'll have language in there saying, expressing your clear and convincing evidence of your end-of-life wishes. Clear and convincing evidence. Do not resuscitate. Living wills typically will have language in there saying, if you're ever in a permanent or persistent vegetative state, what type of care would you want? Would you want to be hooked up to machines and tubes, like in the Terry Schiavo case? Or some folks refer to it as a pull-the-plug directive. Pull-the-plug directive in the vernacular. So really, really important to memorialize that as well. Folks, number 6 of the big 6 disability planning is what I refer to as a spoon-fed directive. Patrick sat in on a course with our elder law organization, Elder Council, several years ago. And this course, folks, was taught by a PhD nurse who said you elder law attorneys need to create spoon-fed directives. And then she went on to tell us about this horrific case out of the state of New York. She said there was a retired nurse with dementia later in life, ended up in a nursing home. She had a healthcare proxy, but like a lot of healthcare proxies, it was silent. It didn't say whether she wanted to be spoon-fed or not. This is not intubation with a feeding tube. There's a strong distinction there. Spoon feeding is not intubation with a feeding tube that they'll do in a hospital setting. This is spoon feeding you'll often see in other settings like nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities, as well as memory care units when somebody has dementia. Because the staff is trained, when a person is no longer eating under their own volition, staff is trained to pick up a spoon and manually spoon feed you. And the PhD nurse taught us this. She said, the brain is that of a baby bird when somebody has dementia. If somebody's putting food to their mouth, the human brain has an eating reflex, that of a baby bird, she explained. In this case, out of New York State, it sustained this incapacitated nurse's life for greater than 10 years, is what they explained to us. And then they showed us a photo on the slideshow of this classroom presentation, sadly, of an emaciated elderly woman in a nursing home bed, and it was just not a good sight. When I came back to my elder law care center the next day, I asked my paralegal, please help me draft a spoon-fed directive, and now we've made that as number 6 of the big 6 disability plan. Fast forward several years after using that, came to fruition here in the real world, no names, of course, our client at a local memory care unit, which has a wonderful reputation. We've had several clients there, the families have been happy, but they were spoon feeding the dad who had dementia. His elderly wife did not have much energy to fight them on it. The children got involved. Hey, please stop feeding my dad. He had a spoon-fed directive. He wished not to be spoon-fed if he stopped eating on his own volition. And they said, sorry, family, this is our corporate policy. They gave the family some pushback. Family was frantic. It was during the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. They contacted my elder law care center, and folks, all they had to do was send a polite email to the management team at the memory care facility, reminding them, bringing to their attention that our client had a spoon-fed directive, and he picked option B. He said spoon feeding may be permissible, however, they should discontinue spoon feeding if he's choking on the food, aspirating on the food, or pushing the food away. And he was doing one or all 3 of those actions. And so they responded in the affirmative, and the good news, it resolved the matter like that. The spoon-fed directive resolved the matter like that. And after action report, not only did it honor our clients, this gentleman's end-of-life wishes, not to be spoon-fed and sustained for possibly years with no quality of life, but it took a tremendous amount of angst and worry and burden off the shoulders of his elderly wife at home and the children over that holiday weekend. So there you have it right there, folks. Strongly recommend spoon-fed directive, not often seen as a disability planning tool, okay? So strongly recommend you put that also as part of your Big Six. Get that into your elder law toolbox or treasure chest. Big Six disability planning. Folks, moving on here. Some additional protections right here. Instruction to my healthcare agents. This is all about enhancing your quality of life. I thought of this when my dad sadly was at the nursing home a number of years ago. I used to go visit. And one day I saw this woman at the nursing home. She had her family, children, grandchildren. There had to be 10 of them. And they were singing happy birthday to grandma. She was glowing. She was beaming. She looked vibrant. She looked so healthy. Like, I was thinking, like, wow, she doesn't look like she belongs in this nursing home facility. This woman is just filled, exuding joy. Well, sadly, every time I saw her after that, no family visits. She was sadly in her wheelchair. Looked like she was heavily medicated in the hallways, staring off into space. And I had to take a look and say, that's the same person. And sadly, it was. And I thought, how can folks enhance their quality of life? So in the late fourth quarter of life, when they're alive and not so well, they already have instructions in place. And here it is right here. Instructions to my healthcare agents, folks. So we advise and counsel our clients. Hey, Bill and Mary, third quarter life, leave written memorial instructions to your healthcare agents on how you want to be cared for. Hey, kids, bring me my favorite food, beverage, music, people, visits, companionship, books, magazines, movies, whatever it may be for you. It's different for everybody. Designed to enhance your quality of life in a very difficult time. Hey, family, please visit me twice a day. Please visit me 3-4 times a week. And that way, not only will it enhance the quality of life for you, if you're incapacitated in the future, but also from my experience, it's going to keep the family on the front side of the cloud so one family member is not burdened and taking on all those responsibilities and duties themselves, because that oftentimes will create family friction and tension and resentment. And that's not good. It's going to put the family on the backside of the cloud, family harm. You want to be on the front side of the cloud, family harmony. And that way, if one of the children is handling the lion's share of the work, they can be like, hey, brothers and sisters, please help me out here. You know, mom or dad want 3 to 5 visits per week or twice a day. I went this morning. Could you go this evening after work? Go by and just, hang out with them, have a bite to eat with them, read to them, watch television with them, hold their hand, pray with them, whatever your wishes may be. Instructions to your healthcare agent, folks, extremely important, okay? This is the Big Six disability planning to avoid disability probate, conservatorship, guardianship. These are additional. These are extras to enhance your quality of life.